Right then, welcome back racing fans to the 2023 Formula Apex Championship. We are kicking the season off here at round 1 at the infamous Luddenham Raceway, a venue we have previously visited twice before last season, with Ryan Alvarado winning the inaugural Grand Prix here and Anthony Capetta winning the second and most recent race here. And boy oh boy, aren't we glad to be back. Formula Apex has such a rich heritage here at Luddenham, so we should be in for a fantastic race today. The track stretches 800 metres from start to finish, comprising of sectors 1, 2 and 3, the third of which is the longest on track. There are 12 corners with 5 rights and 8 lefts, and one of the better overtaking opportunities is up into turn 1, where we saw Anthony Capetta pull off a fantastic double overtake on Nicholas Capetta and Alex Capetta. Be careful heading down the hill into the high-speed hairpin that is turn 6. If you carry too much speed, you might overcook it like Matthew did last time. Onto turn 12 now, which is arguably one of the most important corners on the track. Get it right and you'll have all the straight line speed you could want. Mess it up and you might find yourself in a similar position as Jared Cicluna did last season. The drivers have just come off the track from qualifying, and it was Matthew Capetta who put up a stellar lap to secure his first ever pole position in Formula Apex. His teammate Marco Capetta will be starting alongside him on the front row, which means this is Renault's first ever front row lockout in qualifying. Max Capetta in third position just missed out on pole position by only 0.2 of a second, so it's very, very close between the top 3 in terms of pace today. Lucas Alvarado and Alex Caruana as well, we've got to give them a bit of credit because they both will be making their best ever career starts in Formula Apex. So quite a mixed bag we have here in qualifying. But before we move on, let's take a quick look at the lap that Matthew put in to secure his first ever pole position. Matthew and Marco, congratulations. Locking out the front row in qualifying. Matthew, your first ever pole position.
Yeah.
And so you've never won a race, but just talk us through your thoughts at the moment. Are you nervous? What are you hoping?
We felt like there was no time lost over the break. After pre-season testing, the engineers came back with a really good upgrade package. Now, it may not have been so reliable for Marco, but it was quite fast for me. Took a lot of data in practice, and that helped us find the right parts of the track to be fast to get that 36.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations once again on your first ever pole position. Now, Marco, just going over to you. Now, you'll be starting second, but we never got the chance to talk to you after such a successful Picton at the end of last year. So first of all, congratulations on securing your first win. Now, you'll be starting next to your teammate on the front row today.
Yep.
So, what's going through your head at the moment?
The team's pretty excited. We're a little bit nervous after practice. We had the gearbox failure, so we're just stuck on the side of the track. We have to get the speed car in, and lucky for us, the speed car is going really, really well. So P1, P2 front row lockout is more than we hoped for.
Fantastic. Well, we, the commentators, will be cheering you on. The fans will be cheering you on. I'm sure everyone will be cheering you on, including the team. So good luck out there, and best of all.
Yeah,
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
Right then, we are just moments away from the start of the first race this season, so let's take a quick look at the starting grid. It's Matthew's maiden pole position today, with Marco Capetta starting in second, making it Renault's first front row lockout. Max Capetta will be starting in third, ahead of Lucas Alvarado, who will be starting in a career best fourth on the grid. Alex Caruana for Alfa Romeo had his best qualifying as well, starting 5th ahead of the defending champion Anthony Capetta in 6th position. The two new Alpine drivers, Ryan Alvarado and Jared Cicluna, have locked out the 4th row, starting 7th and 8th together. Shashank down in 9th ahead of the other Alfa Romeo of Alex Capetta, this time in 10th position. And Nicholas Capetta will be starting in 11th ahead of Formula Apex's newest driver, Cody Brown, who will be making his debut for Aston Martin today. So, Matthew Capetta on pole position for the first time in Formula Apex history. Now that has got to be a statement somewhere. He's arguably on, probably the best form of his career so far. So, ending last season with 2 P2s in a row, so close to victory twice at Fastlane and at Picton, and will be starting this season off in pole position. Quite frankly, there's no better place to be starting the season off rather than the front of the grid, and having your teammate right next to you as well, Marco Capetta, in 2nd place. So it'll be great to see where they go, or how well they turn out today. And speaking of the end of last season, this man right here, Alex Capetta, kicked off quite the kerfuffle of driver movements, from leaving McLaren to joining Alfa Romeo, and what was arguably one of the most controversial driver moves, joining forces with Alex Caruana. So clearly there's something that Alex Capetta sees in Alex Caruana as a teammate, so it'll be great to see where they both end up at the end of the season. That obviously then prompted this man right here, Ryan Alvarado, who finished runner-up in the driver standings last season, to also leave McLaren and join forces with the ex-Ferrari driver Jared Cicluna in the newly formed Alpine team. So another potentially another strong driver pairing. So it'll be great to see what happens with them this season as well. And then Anthony Capetta joining forces with Shashank at Mercedes. So Anthony joining one of the junior teams here in Formula Apex. So a lot of driver moves have happened towards the end of last season, and it's all going to be interesting to see what happens in this race here. But Anthony Capetta, the defending champion, will be starting from 6th today, so let's see where he finishes. But more importantly, let's see what the front two of Matthew Capetta and Marco Capetta can do over the course of the 30 laps here today. On board now with Marco Capetta, and for the first time in 2023, it's lights out and away we go. It's a slow start at the front, and there's contact behind with Max Capetta trying to thread the needle between the two Renaults. That might have slowed them down, and Anthony Capetta goes right around all of them down the inside into turn 1 and takes the lead of the race from 6th on the grid up into 1st in just one corner. Wow, what a start from the Mercedes driver. Anthony Capetta sets off into the lead of the race. Down the hill they go into turn 6 with Matthew Capetta and Marco in hot pursuit. Jared Cicluna now just getting past his teammate there, and Max has lost a couple positions, and there's contact somewhere in the midfield with I think that was Lucas Alvarado bumping into the back of Max Capetta, and Shashank as well is in a bit of trouble, but he's made up positions too. But what a messy start it has been from the grid, and everyone has shuffled around now. On to lap 2, it's Anthony who leads, from Matthew, from Marco, from Alex Caruana's made up positions as well. He's in 4th, Max Capetta in 5th, Jared Cicluna in 6th. He's made up a couple positions himself. Shashank in 7th, but Matthew Capetta now looking to go around the outside into turn 6, but can't get through there. But it is evident that Matthew is the faster car between himself and Anthony in front of him now. The question is, where can Matthew get past, and when can Matthew get past? He's showing quite a lot of pace that we saw in qualifying, as we see now Ryan Alvarado getting a better exit out of the S chicanes compared to Shashank, and up into 7th place goes Ryan Alvarado now. Anthony with the fastest lap on lap 2, and I think that's Max Capetta just ahead here, ahead of Alex Caruana as well. So a lot of people making overtakes quite early on while the pack is bunched up, and Matthew Capetta trying again around the outside of Anthony Capetta in turn 6. Matthew Capetta with so much more straight line speed compared to the Mercedes in front of him. He's showing the same pace that we saw in qualifying, and Matthew eager to get past and get back up into the lead of the race now. But Anthony, he's gone wide coming out of the final corner, bit of contact, and Marco's getting involved as well. But Matthew, they're side by side going down the straight. Matthew Capetta with the inside line. Anthony's left him in the room, but Matthew doesn't get past there. Matthew knows where he's quick, and he's going to wait until turn 6 down the hill now. Here we go, Anthony in front of Matthew. Matthew, once again, he moves over to the right to try the outside, but Anthony's covered him off well, and there's contact there. Anthony throwing his hand up in frustration from Matthew bumping in behind. Anthony Capetta at this stage probably knows that he's not the fastest car compared to those behind him. So he's going to have to put up a defensive masterclass if he's wanting to hold on to the lead of this race. Down the straight they go, on to lap 5, and Matthew is inching closer and closer, but Anthony, he's covered him off well into turn 1, and we can see Ryan Alvarado just getting past Alex Caruana there. But here we go, down through the S chicanes, up into turn 6, and Matthew Capetta is going to try the inside line this time, and third time is the charm for Matthew Capetta as he moves himself back up into the lead of this race. And I don't think there was much that Anthony could have done to have defended that one from Matthew Capetta there. Matthew with so much more straight line speed, and Marco has that same straight line speed as well with the Renault package, so he's going to want to get past the Mercedes driver as well as Anthony goes wide once again. And I think that's Max Capetta who's wanting to go up the inside, and he does go up the inside of Marco Capetta there, and Max has moved himself up past Marco and onto the podium places. As just in from race control, Alex Caruana has just been shown the black flag, and I think that was contact coming out of the final corner as Nicholas Capetta gets past Shashank Guy, and I think so does Lucas Alvarado as well. So Shashank losing 2 positions in just 1 corner. But switching back now to the action at the front, Max is all over the back of that Mercedes driver, so Anthony could be in a bit of trouble here. He's got Max pressuring him now as they go down the straight. Anthony, he's moved to the left to cover the inside, but Max Capetta, he's already got him before turn 1, so Max is now up into second place. 2 overtakes from Max Capetta in just 2 laps. And Anthony Capetta complaining of the lack of pace that he's got down the straight. It is certainly affecting him, and it is quite evident as well. Marco Capetta now starting to close right up to the back of Anthony, and he's wanting to do the same that Matthew did and Max did and get himself back up onto the podium. So this is now the battle for third position between Anthony and Marco. Last time out in Luddenham, Marco couldn't quite get past Anthony, but Marco's got a lot more pace now. Down the straight they go. He's going to go to the outside, but Anthony's covered him off quite well there. And Marco switches now to the inside on the exit of turn 1, and he does get past the Mercedes driver. What a move from Marco. That was not what I was expecting there. Looking back now, a couple positions, the battle for 5th between Ryan. He's got his teammate Jared in front of him, and Ryan now to the inside of Jared Cicluna into turn 6 with a lot more pace. Jared's going to try and fight it back, but he doesn't have the pace to match his teammate. Ryan now up into 5th position, and it is all happening now on the opening laps here at Luddenham. But we've got to have a look at a replay from the race start. Now this is on board with Marco Capetta in second. It wasn't a good start from the 2 at the front. Max there trying to thread the needle between the 2 Renaults. That slowed them all down, and I think that just let Anthony go right around the outside. And oh, actually there's someone else there just to the inside. But yeah, the 2 Renaults managed to hold on to second and third for the time being. And I think there was a bit of contact there with Matthew. But this is on board now with Anthony Capetta, who started 6th and just got it right off the line, and everyone just piling up onto the right of the track, which looked like parting of the Red Sea for Anthony on the left-hand side. And quite frankly, that is going to be one of the best starts I've ever seen in Formula Apex. He just got it all right and took full advantage of the contact at the front. This is on board now with Ryan Alvarado, and it's not a bad start from Ryan either. He was actually following Anthony on the left of the track there, and then just gets squeezed out by Marco into turn 1. That then obviously put him on the back foot, and yeah, just didn't make up too many positions off the line. Oh, actually that was a big hit from Ryan Alvarado. He then gets passed by his brother Lucas, and down into turn 6 now, and I think he gets passed by his teammate Jared as well, and then Shashank Aya as well getting in the mix. So Ryan, yeah, not off to a good start. This is now from Jared's perspective, and you know, neither a good nor a bad start from Jared Cicluna, but quite easily the track ahead of him is filling up, and there's just nowhere to go for Jared Cicluna, so he stuck to his line into the inside, watched the chaos unfold in front of him. That's where his teammate Ryan Alvarado hit the barrier. Lucas goes through, and then Jared, yeah, very, very well to just keep it clean on the inside there. Bit of contact from Lucas and Max, and Jared able to just pick up any positions he can. Now this, wow, that was the contact that Alex Caruana made with the barrier, which yeah, is the reason why he was shown the black flag on I think about lap 5 or 6. That is a real shame for Alex Caruana because he was running in such a high point position. Ryan Alvarado goes through, And then again, Ryan Alvarado making contact with the barrier in the same place he did on lap 1. But somehow Ryan making contact with the barrier twice and Alex Caruana only making contact with the barrier once, somehow Ryan has not been shown the black flag. So Ryan very lucky to avoid a black flag there. On board now with Nicholas Capetta getting his elbows out and getting himself up into 7th position and past Lucas Alvarado. So Nicholas not actually having too bad of a race at the moment. He's currently in the points for the moment and actually I think gaining on Jared in front of him as Lucas now tries to come back around the outside heading into the S chicanes. But it's not just Lucas behind, it's Alex Capetta as well and Shashank Iyer in 10th. So this is very much a battle between 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. For the low end of the points. Lucas getting a bit out of order and Shashank Iyer now going up past Alex Capetta onto lap 13 we go. And a four-way fight between Nicholas, Lucas, Shashank and Alex Capetta in 10th. So Alex hanging back just a little bit now. And you can see at the top of the screen, Lucas all over the back of Nicholas Capetta now. Nicholas is going to have to defend just a little bit if he wants to hold on to the points position. Switching back now to the leaders, we are on board with Marco Capetta in 3rd position. He's very much in hot pursuit of Max in front of him, but Max Capetta is very much in hot pursuit of Matthew in front of him. So both Marco and Max are race winners in Formula Apex, but Matthew is yet to score his first race victory. Currently leading this race, and if he can hold off, that'll be a great result and a great way to open the season up for Matthew Capetta. We're at just about half race distance, but Matthew is going to have to go full defensive mode for the remaining 16 laps of this race because Max is all over him and catching ever so quickly to the back of the Renault. On to lap 15 now. These three at the front are very, very close. Max Capetta closing the gap. Could he try and move on Matthew very, very soon? Oh, and there's contact now from Marco behind. Marco pushes Max out of the way and pushes himself up onto 2nd place. That was a very controversial overtake. Marco might be told to give the position back to Max there, and Max immediately on the radio complaining about the move that Marco just pulled at him. So that's is definitely going to be under investigation very shortly by the stewards. And Max Capetta probably not too happy at the moment. He was closing the gap between himself and the race leader very, very quickly and was almost in a position to make an overtake. And now he's been pushed out of 2nd place and down to 3rd. But let's just take a quick replay from Marco's perspective. And Marco just so much later on the brakes into turn 1 and just pushes Max out of the way. And Max not going to be too happy about that one. But switching back now onto lap 16 and Marco is showing no signs of giving that position back to Max. So I'm not too sure what it says in the rule book, but that could potentially be a penalty. But enough of that at the moment because Marco is now all over the back of his teammate. And as we expected, Marco under investigation for causing a collision between himself and Max Capetta for what is arguably quite a dodgy overtake on Marco's behalf. So Matthew leading for the time being, followed by his teammate Marco in 2nd position. Max is still very much behind the 2 Renaults. So Max, there's 13 laps to go. Max could still be in a position to make an overtake or 2 here. But just going back to what I was mentioning a couple of laps ago, there's nothing in the Formula Apex rulebook at the moment of giving out penalties. So if Marco were to receive a penalty, then a bit of contact there between Marco and the back marker of Cody Brown. If Marco were to receive a penalty, then he'll be the first driver to have ever been awarded a penalty in Formula Apex. But anyway, moving on. We are on to lap 18 now of this 30-lap race, and we ride on board with Nicholas Capetta, still in 7th position, but he's got Lucas Alvarado keeping him company very closely behind. Lucas at the moment lapping around 2 to 3 tenths a lap quicker than Nicholas in front of him, but he hasn't been able to find a way past us. There's a bit of contact there. And then Lucas trying to come back around the outside, heading into the S chicanes. So Lucas very much on the charge to try and get past Nicholas here because, Nick is very much holding this pack up behind him. That is Lucas, Shashank, and Alex Capetta behind as well. And I've got to give it to him because Nicholas is he's very entertaining to watch sometimes when he's driving. if he's if he's not throwing a hand up at the other drivers around him, he's I don't know, signaling the camera or doing some sort of hand gestures while he's driving. So very entertaining to watch. But Nicholas having a great race at the moment, and he's going to have to try and defend for the remaining 11 laps if he wants to hold on to 7th position. A 7th position for Nicholas this early on in the season would be a huge result. So yeah, I'm sure he and the team are probably feeling just a little bit nervous at the moment because Lucas is rapid behind. And again, I'm not really too sure what he's doing. He's checking his wrist at the time on the watch that he's not wearing at the moment. So yeah, have you got somewhere to be, Nick, or are you happy to continue driving? But anyways, the driver on your screen just in front of Nicholas here is the lapped car of Cody Brown. Cody currently in 12th at the moment, but Nicholas is coming up to lap him now. Nick, with the pack that he's got behind him, is going to have to overtake quite swiftly. He moves to the inside there, and there's a bit of contact. Oh, and there's a huge crash now from behind. That's Lucas Alvarado goes through, and so does Shashank Iyer. Lucas, I think, hit the back of Nicholas on the final corner as Nicholas was trying to get round one Aston Martin. He gets hit from behind from the other Aston Martin. And Lucas Alvarado has, he's gone through. Shashank Iyer has gone through as well. And Nicholas Capetta from 7th to 9th in that incident and currently out of the points. But if we have a little look again, Nicholas was trying to lap Cody Brown and then makes contact with him, and then Lucas just pushes his way through, and through goes Shashank Iyer, and Nicholas is not going to be happy about that. Red Bull are not going to be happy about that, and that incident surely will be under investigation also. But for now, we'll have to park that incident as we turn our attention back to the top 3. Matthew still ahead of his teammate. We ride on board with Marco, and oh, there's a bit of contact, but Marco currently lapping around 2/10 quicker in the last 4 laps as opposed to his teammate. Matthew currently holding him up, and Marco on the radio telling Matthew to go because Max is right behind these two, and if Matthew slows Marco down anymore, then Marco could be at risk of losing 2nd position once again to Max Capetta behind, because we've seen Max is very much rapid at the moment, and he has just come alive in these last stages, these last few laps of this race. So Matthew potentially holding up his teammate here, and for some reason towards these last few laps in this race, Matthew's pace has dropped dramatically, which is pushing Marco back into Max. Around they go into turn 1, and oh, Marco gets hit from behind, and Marco, his road rage is getting the better of him as he whacks his GoPro. The angle's just gone a little bit up. But the team now are on the radio telling Matthew that Marco is currently quicker than Matthew and telling him to push. But Matthew is saying that he's already pushing. But look at how much time Max has taken out of Marco in just the last, what's that, 4 laps. He's taken about 8/10 now out of Marco. So Max is rapid, and the 2 Renaults are fighting at the front. This is going to be a dramatic finish at the end. Marco not too worried about trying to overtake his teammate, but rather trying to just defend so that Renault can maintain a 1-2 finish. They ended last season with a 1-2 finish, and to open this season up with the 1-2 finish would be a fantastic result for Renault. So Marco very much trying to defend and trying to help his teammate secure his first race win as well. But at what point will Marco have to make the decision to pass Matthew to, at least try and keep Max behind, because Max is all over these 2 Renaults. 5 laps to go, and Max knows that if he can get past Marco somehow, he's going to have a good chance at challenging Matthew for the race victory. As Marco again gets hit from behind, and he's shaking his head because he is absolutely sick of having Max as close behind as he currently is. Matthew now starting to build a little bit of a gap, but he's coming up to 2 lapped cars now. That's Cody Brown and Alex Caruana. Matthew trying to make his way through, but that's slowing him down. That might have slowed Marco down as well, and if Max can somehow find a way past, this is his opportunity. And do you know what? He has found a way past Marco Capetta. Max moves himself back up into 2nd place now. But here they go down the straight. Max, he's going to try for the lead. He's going to go around the outside. And oh no, again, Max gets pushed out of the way from Marco behind. Max had done a brilliant job at trying to overtake Marco, and he got the overtake done as well. And he was challenging for the lead, but Marco, in the same place that he pushed Max out of the way on lap 15, does it again on lap 27. and Marco is now under investigation for a second incident with the same driver for causing multiple collisions. And now, with just 2 laps to go, Matthew and Marco could all but be sure of seeing the checkered flag. Marco's waved his hand towards Max behind him, probably to apologise for what has happened, not just once, but twice. And if I were Max Capetta, I'd be absolutely fuming after being hit not once, but twice by the same driver in the same corner and attacking for the lead on both occasions. So Max and Red Bull are obviously going to be appealing that to the stewards after the race because, Red Bull and Max Capetta could potentially feel just a little bit robbed of the incidents that have happened. But with 2 laps to go, Matthew coming up to the back of Alex Caruana, and I'm not sure with 2 laps to go there might be enough time for Max to close the gap, let alone make another overtake on Marco to try and move himself up a couple more positions. But Matthew now just trying to get around Alex Caruana, and I'm not entirely sure if Alex knows that Matthew is there, but this is still bunching the pack up now with just about a lap and a half, and Max, he has caught back up now, but Matthew is starting to build just a little bit of a gap, and actually, scratch that, he hasn't built much of a gap now. As they go down the straight, Alex Caruana potentially holding up the leaders. What is going on at the moment? Alex Caruana, he needs to move out of the way from the race leaders with just 1 lap to go. Matthew goes through, and down the hill they go. But what a controversial end to this race. But Matthew has done everything he needs to do. He's had a fantastic race from, not even just the race, from qualifying, getting his first pole position to leading the rest of the race after lap 5. And for the first time, not only this year, but in Formula Apex, Matthew Capetta sees the checkered flag to win his first Grand Prix in Formula Apex. Matthew Capetta wins the race. Marco Capetta comes home in second to take what is arguably a very controversial Renault 1-2 finish, and Max Capetta in third as well, and probably not very happy with the outcome of today's race. Anthony in fourth, the 2 Alpines finishing 5th and 6th, with Lucas and Shashankar rounding off the points in 7th and 8th. But what a fantastic job Matthew Capetta has done today from start to finish. He finished 2nd in Fastlane, 2nd in Picton, but today he is the race winner. He is Formula Apex's 6th Grand Prix winner, and he joins the likes of Anthony Capetta, Ryan Alvarado, Marco Capetta, Jared Cicluna, and Max Capetta as well. Max not happy at all after the race that just unfolded, and I'm sure there will be a few words to be said between Max and Marco very, very shortly.
Congratulations, mate. Alright, I got an unholy start on you. What happened? Shit.
Mate, you're in the way.
So,
He was all over me.
Hines.
Oh no, 3, sorry.
Oh, you got 3, okay.
Yeah, I got pushed out a second twice.
You're fine. You're fine. I hate you.
From behind.
You're fine, but I hate
Honestly,
you.
side by side. No, it's different braking points, dude.
I had the greatest.
Just in from the stewards, Marco Capetta has just been awarded a 3-place grid penalty, which he will serve next race for the 2 incidents involving Max Capetta. Now this is from Marco's perspective on lap 18, pushes Max out of the way and back up into 2nd place. Max then finds a way past on lap 26. So he gets past Marco and now challenging Matthew for the lead down the straight, and it almost looks like it's going to be 2 Renaults for the price of 1 for Max Capetta, and then again just gets pushed out of the way in the same spot that Marco did to him back on lap 15. So just to be clear, Marco's result today will stand and he would take a 3-place grid penalty at the next race. And this was the race-winning move that Matthew pulled to the inside of Anthony Capetta to secure his first race victory and the first of the season. So Matthew feeling on top of the world at the moment. Right then, so Matthew Capetta takes home the trophy for the first race this season with Marco Capetta in second. So Marco's finishing position today will still stand and he will take the penalty next race at the indoor track of UKS. Max Capetta, although not too happy with his results, will have to settle for third, and it is another podium for Max Capetta as well. Anthony Capetta, Ryan Alvarado, Jared Cicluna finished behind them, with Lucas Alvarado and Shishankai finishing 7th and 8th. And it was quite an unlucky day for Nicholas, Alex Capetta, Alex Caruana and Cody, just missing out on points behind. Stay tuned for round 2 of this year's championship happening at the end of April. We return to the only indoor track on the calendar where Jared Cicluna won the first and only race at this venue, so be sure to watch out for chaos. But until then, thank you for joining us.